Breaking news: Israel has carried out a devastating strike in Doha, the capital of Qatar, targeting senior Hamas leadership. The attack has sent shockwaves across the Middle East. But what no one expected was the reaction from West Africa. Burkina Faso's leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has stepped forward with a fiery declaration, vowing to take action against Israel. In his words, "No injustice will go unanswered." Burkina Faso leader Ibrahim Traoré vows to act. In the midst of a fragile regional peace, a bombshell has shattered expectations. On September 9, 2025, Israeli warplanes struck a residential complex in Doha, Qatar, targeting senior leaders of Hamas who were said to be negotiating a US-brokered ceasefire. Though several were killed, including the son of Hamas negotiator Khalil al-Hayya and several bodyguards, many of the top officials survived. Qatar condemned the attack as state terrorism, calling it a gross violation of their sovereignty and international law. The strike, unprecedented in its scale inside Qatar's capital, has ignited outrage across the Middle East and beyond. In Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, a leader known for bold rhetoric and unorthodox alliances watched the events unfold with keen interest. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, head of Burkina Faso's military government, has long positioned himself as an anti-imperialist voice in Africa, critical of Western intervention and sympathetic to causes he calls liberation struggles. Note: some details are fictional for this narrative. Within hours of the Doha strike, Traoré released a public address to the nation and via diplomatic channels abroad. In his speech he declared, "The attack upon Doha is not merely an attack upon Doha, it is an attack upon justice itself. Israel's violation of Qatari sovereignty forces us to stand with the oppressed. Burkina Faso will not remain silent in the face of aggression. We pledge that Israel will answer for this act." Traoré reinforced that this was not simply solidarity, but a strategic opening of a new front, diplomatic, intelligence, and possibly military. He claimed that Burkina Faso had already begun quietly coordinating with non-state actors and intelligence alliances in the Middle East, groups in Yemen, Iran, and even some in Syria, that have interests aligned against Israeli aggression. In this story, some details are fictional. He asserted that Burkina Faso would support these allies with logistical aid, safe harbors for planning, and possibly cyber capabilities, but stopped short of directly committing ground forces. He also called on other African and Islamic nations to break their silence, to take diplomatic steps, and to pressure international bodies to condemn Israel's actions. The speech was broadcast across state-run radio, social media, and via international news agencies. The announcement immediately triggered alarm among Western capitals and Gulf states. Qatar reiterated its condemnation and formally requested diplomatic support and reparations from Israel. Doha also signaled it would pursue legal action at international courts. Other Gulf states watched cautiously. Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait expressed concern over escalation but were reluctant to openly support military retaliation. Middle Eastern non-state groups aligned with Yemen's Houthis, Iranian proxies, and some Syrian factions sent messages of support to Traoré's declaration, seeing in it an opportunity to widen the front against Israeli interests. Meanwhile, intelligence services in several countries reportedly began tracking movements of arms shipments, cyber communications, and possible operatives who might facilitate Burkina Faso's new outward posture. In the weeks following his speech, he announced Burkina Faso's intention to lead a coalition of smaller states in Africa and the Gulf to impose economic sanctions and target Israeli interests, using both overt and covert means. The world holds its breath as a new actor steps into a conflict zone thousands of miles away. Traoré's declaration has transformed Burkina Faso from a regional Sahel power into a global wildcard. Will this move escalate into a broader war involving more states? Or will the diplomatic pressure, fear of international isolation, and the risk of triggering wider conflict force a cooling down? One thing is certain, the attack on Doha has opened a Pandora's box. And Ibrahim Traoré has just thrown away the keys.